There you can go.
Okay. Hey guys, you have to keep me posted if my internet goes weird. Sometimes if someone hops on the internet, it, it gets a little garbly on Zoom. But Jordan, thank you very much for having me on. I hope that what I share tonight is just blesses you guys and gives you some perspective. And you know, I just had my 8-year anniversary with Plexus, which is crazy because I did not start for a business at all. Seriously, at all. I started because I was sick from mold toxicity and I had worked with a naturopath for about 2 years. And then I just had like multiple people over the course of 2 years tell, like mention Plexus to me. I remember seeing, an email come from Shoshana Easley, and I took a look at it, was like, not for me. Looks like weight loss and for people that have diabetes. So I just kind of set it aside. But then there was just multiple people sprinkling it over the years. And then I started to see it popping up on Facebook. And so they were speaking my language though once they were posting on Facebook because it was all about gut health. And I totally tracked with that. And so it's just so interesting, isn't it? How God directs our paths and, gives us opportunity. This is a hilarious story, but I'll just share it really quickly. My son, okay, we had some people over for dinner on Sunday evening, and the mom made this amazing, like she made her mom's hot fudge sundae recipe, fudge sauce, and then she brought a big, huge thing of ice cream and pecans and cherries, and my kids were so excited. And teenage boys and ice cream, we polished off that gallon of ice cream pretty quick. But the next day, there was a little bit left over. And so after lunch, I told the kids, like, yeah, you can finish it up. And so, well, here comes my youngest son, who's 6. And he came in so distressed because, he prioritizes playing over eating sometimes. And so he was so upset because all the ice cream was gone, all the most of the fudge sauce was gone, and he was just mad. He was upset, and I was trying to talk him off the ledge, all the things. And my husband came in, and he's like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "Opportunities come and opportunities go, and you got to capitalize on the opportunity. Otherwise, the ice cream is going to be gone, right?" And so I just resonate with that so much because one of the things that I was just thinking about before this call was how we live in the land of opportunity in the United States. The fact that we can work from home, we can, take advantage of opportunities that come into our lives. Like little did I know when I clicked, join and just to get the products that God would unfold this huge thing for us. It wasn't just, me taking products or even me sharing with a couple of people at church. Like this opportunity has magnified our impact. Like, and I don't say that to brag, but to just give everyone the perspective that as if you're a believer today, God has gifted us opportunities to impact people, to impact kingdom for eternity. And how awesome is the fact that we can do business as ministry. Like to me, that's just mind-blowing and amazing, and how the Lord ministered when he walked on earth to people physically before he ever worked and helped them spiritually. And I just think it's so profound. And I over the years in Plexus, I've thought of that, like how the Lord's given me opportunity with people. Anything that puts us in connection with people is a good thing, And so I was just thinking, how awesome it is to live in the United States where we're not told what job that we have to work. We have freedom to create multiple streams of income if we want, right? We can make an abundance of money so that we can help other people, and I don't think that I honestly feel like God is raising up people in every industry to shine bright for kingdom reasons, and so with Plexus, the best industry, right? Network marketing, but specifically Plexus, there is literally no cap on our income. And my husband's former job, like he was at the top, he was capped out. There was no way he could ever make more income. And we were at a point where we were gratefully discontent and praying about something else. Never in a million years would have chosen network marketing, but it's funny how the Lord brings up that opportunity and we can buy it up. But the fact that we don't have a startup cost outside of our products, like if we were going to go have a brick and mortar business, like whatever, have a boutique or a hair salon or whatever, like we would be paying thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars to start up a business from the ground, right? So how awesome is that? No inventory. Like we literally are just people, where we are getting in connections with people and seeing how we can best serve them. Anyways, y'all probably know and think about that, but I was just thinking about that today. And so what I want you to do in the chat is everyone pop in the name of the person that shared Plexus with you. And so, yes, pop it in the chat. I had actually a lot of people that shared it with me. And then I ended up signing up under my friend Carrie, who's local here. She went to school with my sister. And then ironically, Jessica Heffley was her camp counselor. And Jessica grew up just like an hour from me. Isn't that hilarious? We never knew each other, but funny. So yes. Okay. And aren't we grateful for those people? I was just thinking today, like, how grateful are we that someone was brave and shared with us? And I just want to challenge you guys to send a text thank you note to that person after we hop off the call, because they did something that triggered a change in your life for the better, right? So anyways, just wanted to encourage you with that. And also, you know, on the top of my priority list is being a good wife and a good mom, an excellent wife, an excellent mom to my home is my priority. And like, that is where I want that to shine. I want my people to thrive. And to me, the scripture that keeps coming to mind is, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his soul? Or I would add, or the souls of his children, right? Obviously, God does the work of saving, but we have a really instrumental role in the lives of our kids and in the lives of our spouses, right? And so that is just a paramount priority for me. But I want to say that it is possible to be excellent in those areas and not sacrifice the best for the good. But it's possible to be excellent in business, excellent as a wife, excellent as a mom, and excellent maybe in other areas of your life that you are involved in, right? That God has given you opportunity in. So I will just say that so entering this with that mindset, I have definitely been aware of, just taking inventory. And I tell people all the time, it's the struggle of the juggle. I think there's a level of, evaluating things like, how are these different buckets in my life doing? And I tell people all the time, Plexus is one piece of my life, but it is not my entire life. And so I don't know if that is encouraging to you, but a couple of ways I've specifically prayed from the beginning of my Plexus journey is from Psalm, I think it's Psalm 90, Psalm 91, Psalm 90, the very last couple of verses. It talks about establish thou the work of my hands, yea, the work of my hands establish thou it. And so I have specifically prayed that God would bless the work of my hands and magnify the hours of my day. Plexus came into my life in 2015. I had just had baby number 5, and we were so grateful because that was after that mold stuff, and I was told I was in menopause and we wouldn't have any more kids. So, just a quick caveat to say, when your body gets healthy, there's a lot of things that can click back into place. So grateful for that. But when I started, where was I going with that? Totally lost my train of thought.
You're talking about the different buckets and how Plexus is one piece of it. I don't know if that's helpful.
Let me see. I have the notes. Well, I don't know where I was going with that. When I started in 2015, my health, well, no idea where I was going. Totally lost my train of thought. Hilarious. That's okay. All right. Well, let's see. What else did I put? Okay. So it is possible. You can just write this down. It is possible to achieve what you want in your business and do it with peace and joy. And I tell people, I know what I was going to say. The specific way that I pray, that God would bless the work of my hands, magnify the hours of my day. And I had just had baby number 5. I think that's where I was going with this. And life was crazy. Life was busy. And it, in some ways, was overwhelming, but the Lord used that season of my life to teach me things. And Plexus has taught me things that I would not have learned otherwise. And I have some jewels on my team, and one in particular is a pastor's wife. And she's like, I have done ministry for decades. And she's like, I have learned more and grown personally more than I ever have in decades of ministry, which I think is really interesting. But yeah, specific prayers, just that the Lord would bring me people that needed the products in the business. And my life at that time was really busy. And, you know, my days flow. So I know people talk about time blocking and all of this. And I think that it's important, you know, obviously, but I also don't have a problem with my kids seeing a phone in my hand. My days flow. So, you know, I may go from like a 7 a.m. Zoom with my jewels to right into breakfast time and devotions. And then we do some we homeschool. And then, you know, there's some maybe snatches of time in there where, you know, I'm waiting on someone to finish a math lesson or different things. And I pop in and, you know, answer a couple messages or whatever. And then in the afternoon, after, you know, kids have kind of worked through their school stuff and worked on piano, and then I plug back in and work, you know, in the afternoon at my desk. I do work from my desk too. But I would just say that, you know, it's okay for your kids to see you working a business. Like, I'm personally fine with that because I think that they have learned things that they would not have otherwise learned by seeing me talk. I even remember hearing my mom talk on the phone with people. I mean, even just, you know, random, you know, making doctor's appointments or whatever. But I learned how to communicate from my mom, hearing her talk. And you know, funny story, when I started Plexus, I remember thinking, I'm going to have to be more like my mom because she's just a natural connector, a natural networker, you know, meets people on the elevator anywhere she goes. We have always accused her of running for politics. And now that's what she is. So hilarious, you know, how, you know, learning to be a networker is such a key piece. But I know there was a couple questions that Jordan had submitted before the call, and someone had asked like how to gain confidence in the beginning of your journey and how to stay connected and committed. And I would say you learn confidence by working the business. Like, I was just thinking today, like, it's, you know, you look at the numbers and like, oh wow, to go Ruby, I need 100 orders. Like, obviously not just level ones, but wow, like, could my team ever be that big? I seriously remember being in an event that Jessica did in Decatur, Illinois, and sitting in the back with nursing a baby, quiet as a mouse. I don't think I said anything, but I remember hearing my sponsor, Carrie, she was sitting in front of me. She said something to her mom about having 80 people on her team. And I was like, oh, 80 people? Like, how in the world? And I was just mind blown. I was soaking up the info. But the thing that I keep coming back to is you help one, and then you help one, and you help one, and then you help one. And it's in the practice of helping people and serving people that you gain confidence. And it's the commitment to it. You know, a couple of things that have made me successful is acting with urgency. And so, yeah, I lived my life on call kind of with Plexus. But I stayed committed and consistent. I was like crazily consistent. And that has like exponentially grown everything in my Plexus journey. Someone asked how to, like, what action steps to do, or what, you know, what little list or checklist to work from. I know in the beginning, you know, the high five was popular. One thing that I use with my team right now is the Gold School Win the Day worksheet. That's a comprehensive thing. Sometimes if I just get in a funk and I'm like, what do I do? I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work my business, but what do I do? I go back to this little four point thing. Make a post, make a list, message, invite. Make a post, make a list, message, invite. So if you don't know what else to do, go make a post. And then go look at the last 2 or 3 posts that you've done. It doesn't have to be Plexus posts, and make a list of people you want to contact from those posts. Okay, Hot 20 list. Or go to your stories and do the swipe up feature and see all those people that are looking at your stories and just message them. You could like do a connection message, or you could just message them about Plexus and just say something simple like, hey, I know we haven't chatted in a while, but was just reaching out to people today about Plexus, about, you know, how it's helped me. And I was curious if you'd be open to learning more about it. And you can say what it's helped your family with. and then see if they're open to a conversation, or if they know of someone that might be interested. So don't ever feel like if someone writes back, oh no, I'm not interested, you can always flip that into a referral, asking for a referral, because they probably know someone who has, and then list out the things, blood sugar imbalances, hormone issues, wanting to lose weight, needing more energy, having trouble sleeping, whatever, run through the gamut. And sometimes when you list out those things, people are like, oh my word, actually, maybe I need to talk to you. So I would say the biggest thing is just create tons of conversation. It takes lots of conversations. Justin has told people this before. He's like, yeah, create lots, throw the net wide, and then spin the plates. Like some people are going to maybe be ready to sign when you ask them, right? Maybe get a couple people that are like, oh, sure, I'll give it a try. And the other people you're in conversation with in different stages, right? For a while, maybe months, maybe years. I've seen people start and restart lots and lots of times over the years. But you know what? The thing is, keep it fun. Keep it fun. Make it a game. Like, it doesn't have to mean anything negative about you if someone says no or they quit their products or whatever. It's all practice. It's all learning. I go back to my 4-H days, and the motto that we had was learn by doing. Just if something doesn't work or you try something, pivot, whatever, learn from it, pivot, and then try it again, right? That's how we get better at things. Just we get back on the bike and keep going.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
Well, really quick, because I was sitting here thinking this, and then Sarah put it in the comment, and I was like, okay, yeah, we need to ask her. So, like, you're super confident and all that. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, she is so confident in the fact that, okay, we just keep spinning plates, keep going, let's just keep sharing. But, like, how do you not take the silence when people don't respond or when people, are waiting? Like, how do you not take that personally? Like, what keeps it fun for you? What keeps you, like, not being like, oh my gosh, super scared, Like, what is that for you?
I guess I just know that like the 10% rule applies. So like if I reach out and message 100 people, I'll expect to hear back from about 10%. And after time and conversations, I can maybe sign about 3, 3 to 5, and I'm in a different season too in my business. So your percentage might be more or better. Especially if I know some people that are like 10, 15 years older than me. They're like, if I reached out to 100 people, I would have so many conversations going, I would not be able to keep up. But for me, like, I don't know, maybe average-ish influence, I feel like most people don't respond back. But to me, I guess I don't worry about that because I just feel like they're still thinking about it. Like that's the story I'm telling myself of what I'm assuming. And so I think we have to be careful because we can really get in our head about like why they're not responding. And, it can drive us crazy because then I guess my model, all of us have a model of like what's acceptable or what's, how life should work. And so I was actually coaching someone today about this. And I said, well, if someone doesn't respond to you, like, what are you thinking? Like, what's coming up for you? And I thought she was going to say, well, it's just rude not to respond back to a message or a text. But that's not what she said. She goes, I think that it means something about me because they're rejecting me or I didn't say something right. And so she was definitely like making it mean something about her when that's not necessarily the case. And for me, my thought is, well, successful people reply. So, I don't know. You have to just remember that people are busy. People click messages open and then forget to respond. There's a whole bunch of things, but the ball is always in our court to bounce it back. So if it's someone that you're like, really like, oh my word, I want them on my team, just bounce it back. To me, the ball's in our court. So obviously use your own intuition and gut instinct on when and how and what to say when you reply back. Sometimes you might just interact with them on their wall or message them about something else or ask a question, right? Just keep it light and conversational. But then you can swing back around and be like, hey, I don't know if you saw my message above, but I think you'd be really good at what I do. Would you ever be open to having a conversation about plexus? Or you could say, hey, I really think these products are going to help you. Like, I know you've struggled with IBS for years. Like, and I love helping people. So let me know your thoughts about trying something like this. So I think it's just that heartfelt willingness to serve, Is that helpful?
Are we doing questions? Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, first off, hi. I don't think I've ever told you this, but one of your Diamonds in December videos, I think it was 2 years ago, You talked about your consistency with your business. And I remember that being such a pivotal video for me because at the time I was definitely a hobbyist. And I saw how successful you were, and I saw how successful people always show up. Like they don't make excuses. You shared in that video, like it didn't matter what you had going on or how many excuses you could come up with. Like you found 30 minutes to work your business every single day.
Mhm.
And I remember being like, okay, I just need to like get through these growing pains and just do this discipline. But can you share like a little bit more of like what that consistency looks like for you? Not like when you have time to work, but like just the consistency piece, like the mindset behind it.
Mm-hmm. You write down my thought really quickly.
Okay.
The mindset behind my consistency. I think that diligence would be like my strength zone. I am a classically trained musician, and so I'm a pianist and a violin and violist, and that's what I went to college for actually. And so there's a level of the skill set that I learned as a child that from my grandma and my mom and different teachers that I've had over the years is like it's just like if we want to get better at something, it's a matter of picking up the violin and like squeaking through the etudes every single day, regardless of whether we feel like it or not. But like that consistency compounds and builds on itself. So it's not, the one book or the one message or the 10 messages or the 10 pages that we read or the one event that we showed up to. It's like that cumulative, exponential consistency piece that's going to drive our results forward. And so I guess my mindset behind it, I don't know. I guess I just felt like this is what I'm doing. And so I'm going to show up and serve every day. And I honestly woke up expectant because I had prayed and I knew that God was going to bring me people and he was going to put people on my mind. I don't remember if I said that's specifically how I prayed, but I had this faith, like this expectant faith and hope. Like obviously I didn't foresee what would be, but I knew that a lot of people needed the products. Just our son on ProBio 5, and when his eczema went away within a month, I was like, all the moms need to know about this, So I would say it was just like mindset wise, I was just willing to take the action. I just felt like I'm not overly, I don't know, charismatic or like I'm not a rah cheerleader type, or I didn't necessarily feel influential. But I'm like, but if all it takes in order to be successful in this business is showing up and doing the work, like I can do that. I can duplicate all day long. Like anything I would see Tamara or Jessica say to go do, or if they did, like if I saw them do a live on their wall, I was like, okay, I'm doing a live on my wall. I mean, I don't really know how to do it, but I'm going to go try. And it was just like that urgent duplication or urgent, like put it into action. And Justin and I have talked about this too. He goes, that's what's made you good. He's like, I'll sit on an idea for 2 weeks. He goes, you will have done the thing before your head hits the pillow. And you will have already revamped like what you need to tweak and try it again the next day or the next week or whenever. And so it's like when you get an idea, trust that intuition and that little creative, whatever is in your brain telling you, oh, you need to go try this. Or what if you, I don't know, a message to somebody, or maybe it's a idea of how to do an event for somebody. Or maybe it's like, oh, maybe I should offer to whatever, meet up with so-and-so and have coffee. Whatever the thing is, just go do it. Because I truly believe that those are little inspirations that we should act on and not just sit and be like, and avoid it, but actually take the action. And I will say too that like in the beginning, my life, so I had 5 little children at home, and we had like our homeschool structure, and then my children took naps in the afternoon. And if they were too old for naps, they took I required them to do a quiet resting time where they had to read in the afternoon. So I had like built-in pockets in my day where I had time to myself when my kids were littler. And so when Plexus entered my life, I very much worked my business when people were sleeping, either early in the morning, during nap time, and or once they went to bed. Then I stayed up till midnight, like every night, to help people and have conversations and things like that. And so I intentionally simplified my life and intentionally said no to even good things so that I could work my business, because we eventually, I didn't share this piece of my story, but we went from like, maybe this could bless a couple of friends, to like, this is like retiring people. So our vision started to grow, and we just kept resetting the goals. So we definitely, like, probably 4 or 5 months in, like when I went gold, I was like, I want to go emerald, and I want to do it fast. And so it was like pedal to the metal. We had a clear vision of what we wanted to do. So this was like an accidental business for us, but we succeeded on purpose. So it wasn't like, oh, I accidentally went emerald. It was, once we, went gold, it was about that point. Actually, it was once I went silver. I was like, game on. How do I get to gold? And actually, how do I get to that jewel rank? I really want to do that. And so once we had made that decision, then it was like pedal to the metal. We're doing this. We were, communicating, together about our goal, because we started to see like, wow, this could look like legacy. Could look like financial freedom. This could look like being able to transition out of, Justin being gone dark to dark and never being home, and me feeling like a single mom. And so we just had a huge vision that, propelled us forward. What would be helpful? I'm looking in the chat here. Does anyone else have specific questions? It might be easier for me to share with you guys if you have specific questions.
I don't know. I just have tons of notes. I will tell y'all this. If you have questions, be thinking about them. But Megan, I remember when you spoke at Leaders Retreat, it was on the cruise. By the way, Leaders Retreat, you guys, is coming up in the fall. Everything you're doing now is going to propel you forward for what is coming in the fall. And my last Leaders Retreat trip was a cruise. And so I'm just telling y'all, you want to be on this Leaders Retreat trip. But it was a trip that you earned with, you can pick any +1. And Megan spoke on stage. And I just remember her telling me that she used to keep, she'd be like, I'd be sitting on the toilet and I would think of people that I needed to message, and I would get like toilet paper out and just write it. And I was like, this woman is so real. Like she's an actual human with real problems and like real creative solutions. And so I just hope y'all hear everything she's saying and think this person is a baller, but she's also super humble and like also very normal. Like she's a normal person. Kimmy has a question. She said, how do you continue to find new people to talk to about the products and the business after being in this for so many years?
I guess I don't have a struggle finding new people. Like, I still feel like my Facebook friends list is untapped. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I keep meeting people everywhere I go. Where was I recently? I don't know, like when so my big boys are playing basketball at our local Christian school. And so that's like expanded my network and like people that I'm meeting and things like that. And so I just really try to intentionally connect with people when I'm out and about. And then like I went into their like Facebook group, like the parent Facebook group, and I like friended everybody on Facebook. And so like I'm not afraid to expand my network and live out loud on social media. And then also I did an audit of my team. So I'm a pen and paper girl. And so I have everybody written down in the back of my binder, in the back of my journal calendar thing. And I went through and it added up the number of level 1s that I have working the business. 2/3 of those people I did not know in 2015. Like I was floored by that statistic or that number, because I was like, really, have we met that many new people that have worked this business with us? It's so interesting and it's fascinating. Like this business will teach you so much about yourself. It's exposing, and it's also really interesting who does work this business with you, who does trust you for the health reasons and the product reasons, and also who doesn't. And I think people looking at me would be like, well, of course, in a sense, like, of course, you're diamond. You have like a large family, you have your small town, but kind of large circle there. That's not my team. Like seriously, I hesitate to say this because like I love my family so much. They're awesome. But like none of my sisters do Plexus. My youngest sister takes the products, but like none of them even, it's like we don't talk about it. And so if you're feeling like, oh, like really, having this huge issue, the fact that your family, isn't open to the products or the business or your close circle, like my friends circle at church, like they're awesome, wonderful girls, and I love them to pieces. And we're besties, but they don't work Plexus. They've actually gone on and done other network marketing company businesses. And, Justin's just been like, he's like, babe, you paved the way. He goes, I think they think you, dominated this market or something. I don't know. But, it's just so interesting. And I think you guys see me now, 8 years in. I was so extremely introverted when I started. I had a mountain of fears. Like my mom would tell you guys that like my besetting sin as a kid was fear. Like I was very fearful and very worried about like my reputation or what people would think of me. And that was a huge like fears I really had to overcome in the beginning. And but I think the wonderful thing is that this is a learnable thing. It's a skill set to learn, and like you're learning the mindset as you go along. And so I hopefully that I'm coming off relatable in the sense that like I didn't come into Plexus with a skill set, except that I'm a hard worker. I grew up on a farm, and I was the oldest of 7 kids, and the 4 oldest of us were girls. So my dad didn't get a boy helper until my brother came along 8 years. I was 8 years old when he was born. And so I baled hay, we drove tractors, we pulled calves and all the things. And so it's just interesting how like life perspective gives you skills, right? And so I didn't come in with a lot of skills necessarily, but I knew how to work hard, and I was kind of a little creative and willing to learn. And I think the biggest thing is like I was just excited. And so I would just challenge you guys to go back to how you were when you first started, because that to me, I think excitement trumps. It trumps so much. Like it doesn't really matter if you don't know everything. Just learn as you go and be excited, and people are gonna join you just out of pure excitement.
All right, one more question, Megan, and then we will let you go tend to your family because you got a lot of kids and it's probably bedtime over there. Okay, and also I wanted to tell y'all I have at 1 out of my 6 level 1 rubies and above, I only knew 1 before starting Plexus. And so I am on the same boat. Like those were not my sisters, those were not my best friends, like 1. Okay, so Lindsay has a question about rebuilding. Hey, Megan, have you ever had to rebuild before? Anybody ever quit and you had to rebuild? Yeah. So she said, I know. How do you stay so confident in seasons when you're rebuilding? Because they're coming. If you haven't had somebody quit on your team, you're going to. So talk to us about that real fast.
Yeah. I love that question because I think it was in 2019, I was kind of like, I was just weary. That sounds bad, but sometimes we just get tired, or there's a lot of fears, or there's some life stuff that happens. There's just, life is hard. I remember my mom telling me that. I was like, didn't really understand that until I grew up and had kids. But in seasons of rebuilding, I think I was overwhelmed, or I was telling myself I was overwhelmed. And the thought that actually Brooke Hemingway gave me, I think it was in one of her trainings, she just said this line, I'm not done helping people yet. And so that little statement was my de-escalation. My husband always talks about like military term, de-escalate the situation. So sometimes in our brain, it's creating so much drama for us. I'm overwhelmed, I'm worried, I don't have time. Like all of these things that my brain wants to feed me. And sometimes you just have to acknowledge a reality. Like my life, I'm in a special stage and there's a lot going on, but you know what? I'm not done helping people yet. And so, in 2019, I struggled with that. And then I realized I'm not done helping people yet. I've had this feeling of like, how can I help more people if I feel like I'm not taking good care of the people I have on my team specifically? And it was just interesting when I decided to think that other thought and practice it. It was like abundance opened up, and we had the biggest year ever in Plexus yet. to date in 2020. It was a year we moved into our big Plexus farmhouse. Thanks to Plexus, we were able to move out of our 1,700 square foot little cottage into a beautiful, amazing, spacious farmhouse where we have space for everything. And it was just so interesting how that little shift in my mind, I think, created so much the next year. And that's also the year we had our 7th baby. And so if you're in a stage of rebuilding, it's okay. Like, that's par for the course, and you get practice every time you help someone. And I feel like regardless if someone leaves, like it's bless and release. They may be back. Who knows? They may be back. I had a level 1 emerald leave in 2020, but yet we had our biggest year ever. So rebuilding is part of the process, and it's okay. Like, hello, welcome to network marketing. I did see one other quick question I can answer about Justin. It says, does Justin work his business the same way that I work mine? We work together, and so some things that he does, I don't do, and some things that I do, he doesn't do. But we both coach. He's an excellent coach. He's excellent at one-on-ones. He very much loves to like meet people in person. He's very much, loves that part of it, that piece of it. And so I think that's the beautiful thing is like, we can work Plexus, we can represent Plexus in our own specific special way. It doesn't have to be just one way. And so we work it together, but we also work it separately also. And he manages things that I don't even give bandwidth to. And we work it out, Yes. Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on, guys. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have other questions or things pop up, message me. Like, totally, it's totally fine. And
yeah, I was just about to say, if y'all have any more questions for her, just drop them in our February thread and I can send them over to her. But isn't she awesome, y'all? Doesn't she just like make you realize that like things are totally possible? Like, I'll never forget my first conversation with you. And it totally blessed me. You taught me lessons just in that one little conversation. So
I'm so glad.
Thank you, Megan, for being on. I can't wait to see you in 2 days.
I know. It's gonna be so fun. I'm excited to be
so fun. I know.
All
right. Thank y'all for being on. And then next week, oh, hey, really quick. Hold on. I drew a name. Hold on. Carrie Hamilton. Are you still on? Hopefully. I was going to do a little drawing for a bag of active tonight because I really wanted y'all to hear Megan. And so, Carrie, send me your address. And then next week we have something really, really fun. We're doing breakout groups by rank. And so I want to encourage you guys to be on next week because we're going to have some really awesome conversation by rank and small groups. And it's just going to be really, really fun. So we'll see y'all. Thank you for being on again, Megan. And we love y'all. Bye.